Have you noticed that your energy feels different these days? Maybe you get tired more quickly, or after a meal you feel an unusual wave of sleepiness. If you're pregnant right now, you might even be wondering if these changes are just normal pregnancy things, or if they mean something more. And here's the truth. For many expecting moms, these signs can sometimes be linked to a condition called gestational diabetes. Now, before you feel alarmed, let me say this. Gestational diabetes is more common than many people realize, and it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. In fact, nearly 1 in 10 pregnancies can be affected. But the wonderful news is that with the right lifestyle choices, especially around food, you can keep yourself and your baby healthy, strong, and safe. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Think of this as a heart-to-heart conversation, from me to you, where we'll explore 5 golden principles of eating that can make a real difference for your pregnancy journey. These principles aren't about strict diets or overwhelming rules. They're about balance, nourishment, and making small choices that support your health every single day. So, let's start with the first golden principle, one that seems simple but can completely change how your body manages blood sugar. Golden principle 1. Eat smaller, balanced meals throughout the day. Imagine your body like a car. If you pour in all the fuel at once, it overwhelms the engine. But if you fill it slowly and steadily, the car runs smoothly without sudden breakdowns. Your body during pregnancy works in the same way. Instead of eating 2 or 3 huge meals, spreading your food across 5 or 6 smaller meals helps your blood sugar stay stable. For example, instead of skipping breakfast and then having a giant lunch, try starting your day with something balanced. Maybe a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh berries and a spoon of peanut butter. Later, have a mid-morning snack, like a handful of almonds or Greek yogurt. These smaller, steady meals reduce the sugar roller coaster effect that often comes with gestational diabetes. I remember one mom telling me how she used to feel shaky and exhausted after lunch. Once she started eating smaller meals, she noticed a huge change. Her energy felt more even, and she no longer needed that desperate afternoon nap. Golden principle 2. Pair carbohydrates with protein or healthy fats. Here's something important. Carbs aren't the enemy. You and your baby both need carbohydrates for energy. The key is in how you eat them. When you eat carbs alone, like a plain slice of bread or a bowl of white rice, your blood sugar can rise quickly. But when you pair those carbs with protein or healthy fats, your body digests them more slowly, and your blood sugar stays more balanced. Think about this. Instead of eating just an apple, add a spoonful of peanut butter. Instead of plain pasta, toss in grilled chicken and some olive oil. That simple act of combining foods changes how your body reacts. One pregnant student I spoke with said she used to crave toast all the time. She worried it was bad because of the carbs. Once she learned to add scrambled eggs or avocado on top, her cravings were satisfied, and her blood sugar stayed steady. And here's a fun tip. If you love rice, like many of us do, you don't have to give it up. Just pair it with beans, grilled fish, or some stir-fried vegetables with tofu. Suddenly, it's not just carbs anymore. It's a balanced, nourishing plate. Now that we've talked about the power of meal size and food pairing, let's move into another principle that often surprises people but makes a world of difference. Have you ever noticed how different foods make you feel? Some meals leave you energized, while others leave you sluggish. That's why the third golden principle is all about choosing foods that give your body the best kind of energy. Golden principle 3. Focus on whole, high-fiber foods. Fiber is like your body's secret weapon. It slows down digestion, keeps you fuller for longer, and helps control blood sugar levels. When you eat foods rich in fiber, like whole grains, vegetables, beans, and fruits with the skin on, you're giving your body a gentle, steady release of energy instead of a sudden spike. Think of the difference between white bread and whole grain bread. White bread is like a burst of fireworks, bright but short-lived. Whole grain bread is like a glowing lantern, steady, reliable, and long-lasting. Which one do you think your baby would prefer fueling from? Here's a simple swap you can try. If you usually eat white rice, experiment with brown rice, quinoa, or even cauliflower rice. If you enjoy fruit juice, try eating the whole fruit instead. Not only will you get the natural sweetness, but you'll also benefit from the fiber that keeps your blood sugar balanced. One expecting mom told me that adding a small side salad to her lunch every day made her feel more satisfied, and her doctor noticed better blood sugar readings. Sometimes it's the smallest adjustments that have the biggest impact. Golden principle 4. Hydration is your hidden ally. When we talk about food, it's easy to forget about drinks. But here's the truth. What you sip throughout the day is just as important as what you eat. Water helps your body process nutrients, supports digestion, and keeps blood sugar levels more stable. A lot of women don't realize that even mild dehydration can make them feel hungrier or more tired than they actually are. And unfortunately, many reach for sugary drinks to boost energy. That quick fix usually makes things worse. So here's my encouragement. Keep a water bottle nearby at all times. If plain water feels boring, add slices of lemon, cucumber, or even berries for a refreshing flavor. Herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint can also be wonderful options. I once spoke with a medical student who was pregnant during her clinical rotations. She said the moment she swapped soda for sparkling water with lime, she not only felt less bloated but also noticed her cravings for sweets went down. It was such a simple change, but it gave her so much confidence. Hydration may sound basic, but when you're growing a little human, the basics are golden. And that brings us to a principle that ties everything together: the way you approach eating, not just the foods themselves. Golden Principle 5. Mindful eating makes a difference. Pregnancy is busy. Maybe you're juggling work, classes, or caring for other kids. It's so easy to eat quickly, distracted, or even stressed. But here's the thing. How you eat is just as important as what you eat. Mindful eating is about slowing down, paying attention to your food, and listening to your body's signals. It means noticing when you're hungry and when you're satisfied, instead of pushing past those cues. Try this. At your next meal, put down your phone or turn off the TV. Take a breath, look at your plate, and appreciate the colors and textures. Chew slowly. Notice how the flavors change as you eat. When you pause between bites, you give your body time to send the signal that says, "I'm full." One mother I know said she realized she often overate simply because she was rushing. Once she started practicing mindful eating, she felt lighter, calmer, and more connected to her baby. She even described it as turning mealtime into a mini meditation. When you combine smaller meals, smart pairings, high-fiber foods, hydration, and mindfulness, you create a lifestyle that doesn't just control gestational diabetes. It transforms your whole pregnancy experience. At this point, you might be thinking, that all sounds great, but can I really do this every day? And my answer is, absolutely yes. These golden principles aren't about perfection. They're about creating small, sustainable habits that add up to something powerful. Let's take a step back and look at how all of this fits together. Eating smaller, balanced meals prevents sugar spikes. Pairing carbs with protein or fats keeps your energy steady. High-fiber foods give you lasting strength. Hydration supports every part of your body. And mindful eating turns food into a source of calm and connection. When you weave these practices into your daily life, you're not just managing blood sugar. You're building a foundation for a healthier pregnancy, a smoother delivery, and even better long-term health for your child. I know there will be days when it feels hard. Maybe you're craving sweets. Maybe you're exhausted and don't want to cook. And that's okay. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making the best choices you can in the moment, and forgiving yourself when things don't go exactly as planned. One mom shared with me that she used to feel guilty every time she ate ice cream. But then she realized she could enjoy it in balance. Just a small portion, paired with nuts or right after a protein-rich meal. Suddenly, food was no longer about fear or guilt. It became about joy and moderation. That's the spirit I want you to carry with you too. And if you're a medical student listening to this, I want you to think about how powerful it is to guide future patients with these principles. It's not just about telling them what not to eat. It's about showing them how food can be empowering, delicious, and life-giving. So as we close this conversation, let me leave you with one thought. Your journey matters. The little steps you take today ripple into the future health of your baby, your family, and yourself. You're stronger than you know, and every bite you take with love and intention is a gift to both of you. If this conversation spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments, maybe a food swap that worked for you, or a little mindful eating trick that made a difference. You never know who else you might inspire with your story. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can build a supportive community of moms, students, and women who believe in the power of small changes for big results. Remember this: Your pregnancy journey doesn't have to be overwhelming. With compassion, patience, and these 5 golden principles, you can feel more confident, more energetic, and more connected to yourself and your baby. Take a deep breath, smile, and know that you're doing an incredible job. Until next time, I wish you joy, health, and strength, today and always.